Good evening. I'm Ishmael Blackstone, a real voice of reason. America, let's talk. I'm going to discuss the mistreatment of women and the mistreatment of people of color. I'm speaking about them together because they are polarized by one all-important fact. They are both world crimes. The sexual, physical, and psychological mistreatment of women and people of color is forever etched in the sands of time, forged with the blood and tears of those oppressed. Forget about it. Why are you people still talking about that? If it hurts so much, why are they just bringing it up now? Seriously? Maya Angelou once said that the more you know of your history, the more liberated you are. It is because these things have gone on in history and worldwide for so long that they are continuously swept under the rug and have not been handled face to face in the moment. Until now. Today's women are entrepreneurs, CEOs, college professors, in conjunction with being mom and wife. Today's women are not just barefoot, pregnant cookie bakers. So when people say, why did they wait so long to tell? If you listen to most of their stories, many of them have been seeking assistance for years. Women have been crying out for help for years, only to find that their cries of distress were falling on deaf, unconcerned ears. The Me Too movement has given women a vehicle to galvanize, and in one earth-shattering roar, they are saying, no more. In similar fashion, we, the descendants of enslaved Africans, are galvanizing, and in one voice, we are saying to the world that we are no longer going along to get along. For far too long across the world, displaced colored people, those descendants of enslaved Africans, have had to struggle for their humanity. We are not less than because we are darker. We are no more prone to violence than Irish, Italian, Asian Americans, and we are highly intelligent, spiritual people. You see, violent subsets exist in every culture. In every culture there exists a violent, rogue, criminal element, but only African Americans, we, the descendants of enslaved Africans, we are the only group of people that are defined and whole by the worst among us. Just like women, people of color are saying no more. Enough. Time's up. Violence against women has been a world crime for centuries. Violence against the descendants of enslaved Africans has been a world crime for centuries. Most countries find colorful ways to ignore these issues, so recognize today is a new day where overt institutional racism and sexism has had its last tormenting breath. Women, just like people of color, basically had no rights for centuries. Women were thought to be less than men. Wives had to do what their husbands and fathers told them to do or face uncertain death in some countries. The United States of America is made up of all of these cultures, and their belief systems are etched into these foundations. In retrospect, just about every culture in the world has gone to war and taken their conquered and enslaved them. But the Pan-American slave trade was a little different. Those lands were raided intentionally to enslave people to sell into slavery for physical labor. The United States kept Africans for far too long and entered a civil war to maintain that way of life. So the next time you feel the urge to tell a sexual assault victim or an African American to forget about their past, I want you to think about whether or not you would encourage a war veteran or a family member of a Holocaust victim to just forget about it. Leave the past in the past. You see that feeling in the pit of your gut? The gasp of disgust, like how dare he suggest such a thing? I'm not suggesting it at all. I'm simply shedding light on the fact that your feeling of disgust for what you thought I was suggesting is the same feeling that African Americans have and sexual assault victims have in a world full of people telling them to just forget about the torment in their past. Last I checked, I thought you needed to embrace your history to understand your present, which enables us to forge ahead into the future well-equipped with knowledge. President Theodore Roosevelt once said, "The more you know about your past, the better prepared you are for the future." The past cannot be changed, but knowing our past will help us keep from repeating it. History must honestly be passed on from generation to generation in all its glory details. The good, the bad, the ugly, the disgusting, and the downright ridiculous. Because history is the who and the why we are who we are. I'm Ishmael Blackstone, reminding you always that progress does not blend in.